This stage holds a lot of responsibilities: pride for your sex, respect for the other, and a passion for debate. Welcome to No Hearts Barred. And hi, I'm Ashley Johnson, your host and moderator, and welcome to No Hearts Barred, the show where we believe in free speech and broken hearts. Today's episode is a special episode because all of our debaters attend the University of Montevallo. And on our men's debate team, we have a freshman from Montevallo who majors in business management. He is from Birmingham and enjoys girls who think with intellect and presents themselves with enough pride that he can take home to his mother. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronald Wright. And the next man on the men's debate team has a firecracker personality and wants a woman who can understand a relationship from another point of view besides their own. He's currently a sophomore majoring in mass communications. Everyone give it up for Rio Smith. And our last member loves women who have their own goals and ambitions and plans their life towards her future aspirations. He is a senior who plans on getting his degree in graphic design and drawing. Here is Timothy McMillan. And next we will introduce our women. Our first member of the women's team is a mass communications major and believes that a perfect relationship should exemplify trust and love between two individuals. Everyone give a round of applause for Carmela Williams. Our next guest is also a mass communication major and is very big on communication and relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, Chloe Allen. And last but not least, our last contestant is Shelby Mays, who is majoring in technical theater, and she believes that honesty, trust, and a little spontaneity keeps a relationship alive and true. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, coming up next, we'll give a brief description of the rules and dive into the first round. We'll be back on No Hearts Barred. And welcome back to No Hearts Barred, the show where we believe in free speech and broken hearts. Before the break, we introduced both teams, and now it's time to get into the first round. The rules are simple. Our questions have been generated from the fan mail and have been selected randomly. Both teams will have 1 minute each to argue with an opening. Afterwards, both parties will have 4 minutes to debate back and forth with each other respectively. Finally, each team gets 1 final minute to close their argument. There will be 2 rounds, and after both rounds, a winner will be declared. Now it's time to get into our first round. Ladies and gentlemen, round 1. And our first question comes from an anonymous female, and she writes, "My boyfriend is Muslim and I'm Christian. We were dating for around 2 months until he told me. I really like him, but I don't know if we can see eye to eye religiously. Should our difference in religion matter?" That's a great question. Girls, I'll let you open. You have 1 minute.
I don't think that religion should be the determining factor in whether you date someone, but I do think you need to take into account all the things that go into different religions, like will you have to convert if you get married, how are you going to raise your kids, you're going to have constant arguments about like political views because your religious views are different, and how are you going to celebrate holidays together. You just got to take a lot of things into account.
Basically said the words right out of my mouth. I really do think that it does have to base on the individuals too, and will you have to convert to Muslim or Islam, and how are you going to raise your children? That could be a really big factor. You kind of have to think along down the road about these kind of things.
Okay, guys, your opening is next. You have 1 minute.
I think it'll be very difficult because you'll be unequally yoked. And what if one person wants to grow spiritually, and that'll hinder the other person and hinder them because one person believes in one thing, another person believes in something different. And then as far as praying, how are you praying? You're praying to 2 different gods. So if one person may have faith and believe in one God and the other person believe in another one, it'll be difficult to get through hard times and situations. So I think that it'll be very tough.
Oh, well, it's kind of personal. I believe that everybody has their own way to God. And my thing is, if you are a devout Christian and you're a devout Muslim or you're a devout Buddhist, you have to let that be known from the jump, and as opposed to letting a relationship get deeper into it and more feelings are involved.
Heather, you may begin.
Okay. I'm in a relationship with a guy that's Hindu. He grew up Hindu. He is really strong Indian family, and religion is a big difference in our relationship. But what it has done for me, like, it opens this whole new door to learning about different religions. And I'm not saying necessarily accept it, because I haven't accepted that. I don't believe his religion to be true. Like, I'm a strong Christian, and I take my religion personally. I still go to church. You know, I pray, and I pray for him. It gives me an opportunity for ministry. So, like, if it's something that matters to you that much, and you really, you know, do care about him, and you want to like continue the relationship with him, then talk to him about it. Talk to your families about it. Be like, this is something that's important to me, and I want it to be important to you. So you can go from there.
I have a question. Do you, and I mean, since we're being personal, do you believe your relationship can go as far as you would like it to go?
I do.
You do?
Because
even with the differences?
I know, yes, because I've made it very clear to him. I'm like, you know, this is what I believe, and like I accept that we have differences, but you know, like, if you really want this to continue, I want you to accept this about me, and I will accept it about you. And like, I would love for him to go to church with me, like, and we talk about it, and it's like opened his eyes. He's like, he asked me questions, you know, like, well, what about this? Like, I told him the Christmas story for the first time this past Christmas, because he had never heard it before.
I think it can be the same with pretty much anything in a relationship. You really have to accept everything about the other person. And religion is just made into such a big deal that is the main thing that tears people apart. But I mean, I'm not saying you have to meet in the middle, because you can still retain your religion and be married. It's just you can't take it as personally as you did before you got with the person, just because they don't believe the same thing you did.
I mean,
So are you changing your opinion? Because earlier you said that it wouldn't work.
I didn't say it wouldn't work.
Well, you said it posed a
I
lot
said
of
it's
problems.
a big factor, and it depends on the strength of your faith. I said it is between the two people if it's going to work or not. If there's no absolute rule on you can't date
Like,
somebody of another religion.
if you know that you're going to be getting with someone who's like of a different religion than you, then you know what you're getting into, basically.
Exactly, just like somebody of a different race.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what
right.
you're getting into when
That
you
is-
start.
That is definitely
When you
right.
And
start
in some
dating the other
cases, it
person.
might not work. You know, that's dependent on the individual relationship. It's like what you're willing to invest, what they're willing to invest in you. It's
So-
definitely to apply.
And you're willing
My
to
thing
accept
is,
them.
I don't think you should even just go down that alley. It posed too many problems, too many red flags.
So you're going to
Me.
immediately judge someone based on their religion, whether you
Not
think they're
judging
pretty.
not judging them at all.
But steering
but
clear.
Yeah.
knowing that that's not the direction I want to go.
And
because,
that's cool,
Yeah. That's a
but
personal
you also have to take, you have to.
I mean, there's other women a part of my religion that I'm pretty sure I could find and develop a good relationship with, rather than try to be the person who wants to step outside.
And that's
of my
understandable,
Yeah.
but you can't live your whole life saying, well, I'm not going to take
I'm
that
not
road
gon-
because there's too many.
I'm
You
not
never
being
know unless you
closed-minded
try
to the
it.
situation, but I know who I am. I know my religion, and I know what I'm looking for. And I'm not going to be subject to a person of another religion. Whether we probably could work it out, but dealing with who I am, how I feel about the situation, and how I want my life to be, I won't let that happen.
Okay. Well, guys, you have 1 minute to state your conclusion. Go ahead.
All right. She gave her a little bit of her personal life. I'm gonna give you a little bit of mine. I am probably officially agnostic with a hint of Christianity left in me. With that being said, I would date a woman who is Christian, Jewish, Muslim, so long as I know that that factor would not be the deciding factor of whether or not we can make a long-lasting relationship work. And I guess it is tough. Do not get me wrong. I've lost so many good women, and so many good women gave up on me simply because of my I guess you could say, religious beliefs. And it's really unfortunate because they're giving up a good thing. I will not change who you are. Your religion, your path to God, that is your religion. That's your way. Just let me do mine and we can be good.
If the two people are willing to work it through, then I think you should pursue it.
Okay, now ladies, you also have just 1 minute to state your conclusion.
I think that it depends on the individual, and also remember, not saying this is an excuse, we do live in Alabama where religion is a really big thing. So when you're getting into a bi-religious relationship, you really got to take into account where you live and how it's going to affect your relationship, not just between the two of you, but in society.
I do agree. It does depend on the individuals too, but you got to remember where you are, and you're going to get flack for it wherever you go in the Bible Belt. So,
Yeah.
but if you're willing to work through it, then I think you should pursue it.
Yeah, just don't make that your only breaking point. Try to, see all the differences, balance everything that is being inputted into this relationship, and do what you can, but do what is best for you in the long run.
All right. Well, this first debate has been interesting. We are going to give it some time and cool down this set with a commercial break. I'm Ashley Johnson, and this is No Hearts Barred. And welcome back to No Hearts Barred, the show where we believe in free speech and broken hearts. The first round was very interesting, and both teams seemed deeply settled in. Round 2 is underway, where the questions only get even more controversial. Here goes question 2. And question 2 comes from a business major who attends the University of Montevallo, AJ Linder. He asks, my girlfriend does a couple of things that upset me, but I wait to confront the situation when I calm down, which may be in 1 to 2 weeks. She wants me to address it when it comes up, but I fear I will say something that I may later regret. Should I just go ahead and bring it up even though I'm genuinely upset? Guys, I'll let you open. You have 1 minute.
Me personally, I bring up the situation 1 or 2 weeks later because when I get angry, I may say some things that I will regret. It may cause a problem because you'll think that they just brush it up under the rug and you just didn't address it then, but I think that we'll be able to come on a common ground and you'll get a better me versus me when I'm angry, because I might not even try to think back on how you felt about the situation. In between that 1 or 2 weeks, I had time to reflect and I had time to say, okay, I was wrong, or maybe you was right. So I think that it's best for me to talk it over 1 or 2 weeks later when I'm calm.
Well, with me, I just don't want to blast it off right then and there because I may say some things that I really don't want to say, but at the same time, you don't want to wait too long because you'll just build it up.
Okay, now ladies, you also have 1 minute for your opening argument.
I don't think you should wait 2 weeks. Give it a couple of days because, you're just going to fester. Like with the guys that wait to tell me that they have problems, it just festers inside them, and then they're going to really blow. Like if they don't tell me right then.
You really need to learn how to control your anger if you think that talking to your girlfriend about any little problem is going to cause you to say something that you don't want to say. And if you wait 1 to 2 weeks, that's kind of like bringing up old news.
Exactly.
Especially if she didn't know that she did something wrong in the first place.
Yeah, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. If you say something bad, if you go back and apologize, there's a good chance she'll see you eye to eye and forgive you for that.
Communication.
It depends on what you say.
Communication is key.
Yep, that's not communicating right.
Okay, now it's time for the rebuttal. You have 4 minutes. Go for it.
My thing is, I'm not going to act on it in the heat of the moment right then, but I'm not going to wait 2 or 3 days. I'm going to address it soon after. And I'm not going to hide my emotions or bottle them up and throw them out the window. And if I do say something that's maybe hurtful, should I regret it? I don't think so, because that's how I feel.
Well, see.
Because my thing is, depending on what you did, maybe you deserved it.
Well, see, sometimes you really do have to keep your emotions in check. Sometimes it's really just best to just let it go. Not everything has to be an argument, and not everything has to be a confrontation. And
Never said that.
Did it?
If it's a big enough problem, it needs to be addressed. Yeah. Now, with that being said, I'm with him. I'm not going to wait 1 or 2 weeks. AJ, Thanks for watching the show. I'm not waiting 1 or 2 weeks to say something about it. I might say, all right, baby, let me calm down. Give me 30 minutes. I'm good. I'm going to talk to you about it. I'm going to tell you how I feel, but I'm going to make sure I don't say anything that's completely out the way. Now, what I've dealt with is either girls will say something before it's a real problem that'll make them a nagger, or they'll wait 3-4 months later until I hear about some stuff that I did in August.
Well, see,
and it's December.
Waiting, like bringing something up before it's a problem, that means bringing something up before it's a problem to you.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not bothering her. I mean, sometimes with girls, we just like to go ahead and get it over with, as opposed to boys who think that they're going to throw a tantrum if they talk about it right now, so they have to wait too long.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of things, like little things that will build up over time, it might, and like I'll shove them under the rug for, a couple of weeks or whatever.
But that's
if it's
dangerous.
no, but like if it keeps going, because like there's different ways to handle it. You can be like, well, you kind of did this, and then like let it go for then. But if it keeps, persisting, then you can change.
Like I said, you don't have to bring up every tiny problem.
My thing is, I may bring it up. I may bring it up in a sly way, but if she be like, da this, I'd be like, oh, that's how you feel? I disagree with that. But I won't go full-fledged and let it build up. I'll tell her my opinion right then, but I'll address it in a subtle and different way than approaching it. But we have to sit down and have this.
It's also up to both people to know what bothers the other person. Like, if you're a girl and you're dating a boy and you're flirting with every single boy around you, you can't really expect your boyfriend to be okay with that for too long. You kind of have to know.
Yeah. But you know how you are in a relationship and then you can see that person's mad at you. You be like, okay, why she mad? Baby, what's wrong? I don't feel like talking about it. Oh, it ain't nothing. I'm fine. I'm good.
Well,
no, she's not.
Tell them. Just be like, I can clearly see that you're upset.
Don't just beat around the bush about it. You need to get to the point.
Some people, they wait 1 or 2 weeks, but then they wait for so much stuff to pile up, then they just hit you all with it at once. Just,
well, see, that's some people, and that's something you have to work out in your personal relationship.
But I'm just thinking, like, okay, that's what I'm saying. You do need a area in which you can just calm down, chill, relax. Sometimes you can't do it, depending on what the situation is. Sometimes it just got to get out there right then and there, like, hey, I saw you doing this, and what was that all about? Sometimes you might have to sit back and say, okay, let me calm down before I say something out of pocket. But you shouldn't wait 1 or 2 weeks. You shouldn't throw, like, especially something that can present a serious problem in a relationship. You cannot wait on it.
And my thing is, if I, oh, my bad.
Interesting. A lot of strong arguments for both parties. Guys, you have 1 minute to state your conclusion.
Well, my conclusion is that I'm going to address the situation. I'm not going to hide my thoughts on the situation, but I will not disrespect you or make you feel as if I'm demeaning you in some kind of way. And if I ask the question, you can't get upset that I asked or get offended. You can't say that, okay, I don't trust you. The thing is, I think I deserve to know.
Okay, ladies, now it's your turn. 1 minute, let's go.
My thing is, if it's bothering you, speak up, because an adult relationship is just that. You speak on what bothers you, but you can't let every little thing bother you. That's the main thing.
Communication, bring it up, give it some time to cool off.
And don't worry so much about hurting the other person's feelings, because sometimes you really just have to say stuff.
That's right.
And like sometimes don't even like be angry at the person, but just tell them, be like, hey, this bothers me. Can you not do it?
Not every issue has to anger you.
Yeah.
What a show today. Both parties were great. We will come back for the final ruling after this commercial break. Here's No Hearts Barred. And welcome back to No Hearts Barred. This episode has been great. Both teams were very impressive. I'll say for the gentlemen, I understood what you were saying, yada, 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 And ladies, I get it, girl power all the way, yada, 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 yada. No team should win, because this is relationships. And you know what? That's all the time we have for this episode. I'm Ashley Johnson, and this is No Hearts Barred.